Pictures of women with guns, lake with modern lifestyle. It is difficult to guess by looking at the picture of modern Israel that this country has been built on the history of sorrow, trouble, and blood for centuries. Actually, Israel is the only country in the world which is ruled by Jews, that is, the world. Before the 1940s, Jews were scattered in different corners of the world, especially Europe had become their home, but the way Hitler's narcissism killed Jews badly in World War II, no country made any special effort to save them, then. In such a situation, these people raised the demand of their own country where they could live peacefully with their heads held high and give a safe future to the coming generation. When millions of Jews were killed during Hitler's rule, the Jews of Europe, especially Germany, turned towards a small region in the Mediterranean Sea, which was called Palestine. Jews from Africa, Europe, and other parts of the world now started moving towards Palestine. At this time, they had a dream in their eyes to have their own land, to be among their own people, and to make their own country where their fate is not written by the Europeans. But it raises the question that why did the youth of the whole world move towards Palestine? Why did they call this small country their own? To understand the history of Judaism and the story of Israel, let us go into the pages of history. The story begins about 4,000 years ago. There was the civilization of Mesopotamia, where idol worship was promoted. At that time, there was no specific religion here, and the society had not evolved. During this time, Hazrat Ibrahim was born here, from whom the Abrahamic religion began. His descendants gave birth to Judaism and Islam. However, Hazrat Ibrahim gradually went to the land of Canaan, which is a part of Israel and Palestine in the present days, and started giving religious education to the people. He established a religion which was named Judaism. Ibrahim's followers began to be called Judas. Ibrahim had two sons, one Ismail and the other Isaac. During his time also, they followed Judaism and their followers also increased in large numbers. But later, when Aisha's sons were adopted into Christianity, they were known as Israel among the Jews and as Yaqub among the Muslims. He took Judaism forward, but then he married many people, which resulted in 12 sons who formed 12 different tribes and started ruling. One of these sons was related to Judaism, and he established Judaism for the first time here, but with the passage of time, a terrible time started coming here, due to which Jews started migrating to the surrounding countries. Most of the Jews settled in Egypt. Since wherever Jews went, they used to make settlements and live in groups. That is why they were always ahead in business. The king of Egypt started getting scared of their ability. He felt that if the number of Jews kept increasing like this, then the day was not far when these people would capture Egypt and start their rule. Their increasing population and prosperity started making the king there restless. Then soon the king of that place gave such an order to stop the influence of Jews and their families that everyone got goosebumps on hearing it. Actually, the king of Egypt ordered to kill all the Jewish men and children, which started pushing the women into slavery. Due to this, not only the initial population of Jews, but many Jews started fleeing to other states. During this time, Hazrat Moses was born in the Egyptian Jewish family, who with great difficulty gathered the Jews living in Egypt, and after crossing the difficult path, returned to Israel with his Jewish convoy. After this, Moses started being known as a religious guru, and his respect among the Jews started increasing. When all the Jews together reached Israel with their convoy from Egypt, then he gave the 10 Commandments of God, that is, teachings, by following which the Jews could always remain happy and prosperous. He got the 10 teachings written on a stone, and kept it in a social center, which was called the 10 Commandments of God. In this way, the Jews got a fixed place to live after a long struggle. After some time, King Saul established the Israel kingdom in Israel, which became the Jews' own empire. Around 1000 AD, King David, who was the son of King Saul, became the first powerful king of this people. His son Raja Solomon Mohan, who was the king of the Muslim people, became the first king of this people. He became famous as King Solomon in 587 AD. He built the first social worship center of Jews, Temple Mount, in the capital of Israel, Jerusalem. It was called the First Temple or Solomon Temple because the Jews rejected idol worship. Therefore, a stone with 10 teachings given by Hazrat Moses was kept in this temple. But in a short time, a civil war broke out here, and the people here settled in two groups. As a powerful race of King Solomon Jews, happiness and wealth showered on them. But after 2 centuries of defeat, a king of Mesopotamia, Salmanesarvi, attacked in which thousands of Jews were killed again, and the capital Jerusalem was badly looted. Somehow the Jews resettled themselves and their empire, but a big incident happened in 587 AD. During this time, many wars happened in which Jerusalem was badly ruined. At that time, on the orders of Babylonia king, the entire Judah community was looted, and a terrible Nasir happened. Those who went back, the Babylonians took them with them as slaves to the Babylonian kingdom. The Jews destroyed the Jewish kingdom. After this, the Jews were now under the control of Babylon. The Babylonians also destroyed their first holy temple, and during this time thousands of Jews were sent to Israel for 70 years. Many Jews fled Israel and got scattered in every corner of the world. After this incident, both Jews and Jews were wiped out from Israel. After some time, a new empire was born in Iran, which is called the Persian Empire. The Persian king conquered Babylon and Egypt, including many Hassans of the Mediterranean Sea, and established the Persian Empire in a large part, in which the Jews got some freedom. He ordered these Jews who were slaves in Babylon during the reign to go back to Israel and rebuild Israel there. The Persian king also allowed the Jews to build a temple again. After this, the Jews again went to Israel and built their temple here. It was called the Second Temple. The Jews started their life here, but this place was always entangled in wars and attacks for some time. After the battle, Alexander won over the Persian Empire, and after that Selim definitely came under the control of Alexander. After the end of Alexander's kingdom, Israel came under the Roman kingdom till 63 AD. During the Roman kingdom, Jesus Christ was born in a Jewish family. He gradually became very popular among the people, and he called himself the Son of God. Soon his followers spread in the Jewish society. People were very impressed by his teachings and started coming to see his miracles. The religious leaders of the Jews did not like this. They started spreading things against Jesus. The judges refused to accept Jesus as their God's messenger. They refused to accept the teachings of Jesus of Nazareth, and around 30 to 33 AD, Jesus was crucified, saying that this man was speaking against religion. But crucifying Jesus proved to be very costly for the Jews. The Roman Empire started increasing the followers of Jesus. Many Jews also started following Christianity. This started increasing the problems of the Jews. Due to the increased Christian population in the police, many Jews also started following Christianity. Due to this, the religious leaders of the Jews together revolted against the Romans, which is called the First Jewish-Roman War, so that the Christians could be driven out of Israel and they could get rid of the Roman rule. The Jews now formed convoys and started refusing to obey the Roman Empire. When the Jews raised their voice for their rights for the first time and started refusing to obey the Roman kingdom, the Romans surrounded the entire Salem from all sides and cut off the food supply, due to which the Jews died of hunger. After this, they started killing some children and finally handed over the entire Salem to the Jews. During this time, the Romans also burnt down the Second Temple of the Jews, due to which the Jewish families were killed and the children were either converted or put into slavery. The atrocities against the Jewish women increased, and the Jewish men and children were even killed. During this time, the Romans not only killed millions of Jews, but also made millions of them hostages, and taxes were imposed on the children. To erase the name of Israel, the Romans changed the name of Salem to Elia capital. During this time, the Romans changed the name of a small part of Israel called Julia to Syria Palestine, which came to be known as the Lateran Palestine. Gradually, the followers of Jesus encouraged Christianity in Palestine. However, the kings of both the Roman empires were also against Christianity. Therefore, the people living in the first style followed the religion secretly. This religion did not spread much in the beginning. The Roman Empire ruled till 324 AD, but after this the Roman kingdom was divided, and finally the Byzantine Empire, which was a part of the Roman Empire, seized Selim's throne in 3204 AD. The power of the Roman Empire came into the hands of Constantine, who was known as the Great Emperor. Constantine himself was very influenced by Christianity and the thoughts of Jesus. Therefore, he built a church in Jerusalem where Jesus' tomb was and accepted Christianity. This church was named the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. After this, the Byzantine Empire and the Byzantine Empire were also established, declared Christianity as their official religion. Now, since the Jews did not believe in the teachings of Jesus and supported the crucifixion of Jesus, these people again became the target of this new empire. Now, the persecution of Jews started again. During this time, thousands of Jews again adopted this religion, and those who did not adopt it were again tortured because the Byzantine Empire knew that if the Jews got even a little success, they would immediately stop in building their empire. Therefore, during this time, he made many such rules which ended the power of the Jew people. According to some rules, the judges could not keep any slave or servant for themselves. Jew and non-Jew marriage was also made. They could not build any kind of community worship center, and neither were they allowed to gather in large numbers and pray. There was also a provision to punish the Jews who did not follow all these rules. They were properly punished, and in many cases they were either put in jail or they were directly given the death sentence. Such was the life of the Jews while living it. Some Jews lived a few more years. In 638 AD, after defeating the Byzantine Empire, the army of Umar captured Jerusalem, after which the whole of Syria and Palestine came under the rulers. During the time of the Arabs, they changed the name of that place to Palestine. From 638 to 100099, Palestine was in the Islamic period in which the Jews got some freedom. During this time, millions of Jews became Muslims and started calling themselves the descendants of Ibrahim. During this time, the Jews flourished a lot. The Muslim caliph invited the Jews from all over the world to come back to Salim. During this time, the Jews again moved towards Israel. However, due to wandering for the last 500 years, many Jews had now settled in the areas around Africa, Europe, especially Spain, Germany, and Russia, and they made their small settlement there. Therefore, during this time, Islam spread everywhere, and the Jews also started settling in different places all over the world. Till 100099, the Jews were living a good life, but by the 11th century, Europeans were now exploring every place while looking for sea routes. During this time, they also conquered Palestine and started killing the people living there. Apart from this, atrocities also started on the Jews living in other places of Europe. Actually, almost all the European countries had started following Christianity, and they believed that it was the Jews who had crucified Jesus, for which they had to pay the price even after 1,000 years. European Christians not only captured Palestine and Jerusalem but also worked to poison the lives of the Jews living there. They believed that Salim, where Jesus' tomb was, should now be snatched from the Muslims, and the Jews who were considered responsible for Jesus' death should be eliminated. This war started from 100095 and continued till 1291. During this period, terrible wars took place between Muslims and Christians, which is also called the Holy War. Actually, Jews and Muslims definitely considered Salim as their Holy Land, but Christians also considered this place as their Holy Land and wanted to have their rights over it. In this war, Muslims and Jews together fought against Christians so that they could be saved from Jerusalem. In this war, lots of people were killed from both sides, especially the Jews who were living in this region. Their number was more than the previous number. Apart from this, wherever Jews were seen in Europe, Christians started burning them alive. This lifestyle and slavery of Jews continued till the arrival of the Ottoman Empire. In the 16th century, the Ottoman Empire captured Salim. A large part of Europe was also ruled by these two empires, in which Jews got some freedom. Although the Jews were not living a good life in these two, but still Christians in Europe were fighting with Jews in a similar way. The life of the Jews under the Ottoman Empire was better than that. So the Ottoman Empire not only gave the Jews their religious freedom again, but also gave them a chance to live a good life again. They definitely tried to end Salim's entangled Holy Land dispute. In fact, they got the wall of Mount Temple and the entrance of the mosque and the walls of the church built in the area known as Palestine. Separate entrances were made and arrangements were made for everyone so that people do not attack each other in the name of religion. And this work of the Mother Empire was undoubtedly very effective in Jerusalem. For a long time, there were no religious wars between these three religions, but the fear of Jews was not going to leave them. Due to running away for the last 2,000 years, now most of the Jews had settled in the Mediterranean Sea and Europe, but now anti-Jewish talk started happening everywhere in Europe. Christians now started finding reasons to discriminate against Jews, without any reason. At this time, this hatred spread against Jews was given the name of anti-Semitism, which meant discriminating against the Jews on the basis of religion and race. This discrimination was not of a normal level. Rather, the anti-Jewish people considered Jews to be the Daba of the society. They were kept away from the social welfare schemes and benefits of the community or society. Many times they were burned alive in the name of breaking the rules of religion and doing black magic. By the 18th century, anti-Semitism started spreading in the whole of Europe, and Jews had to beg for every breath. Every day they started facing violence, slavery, and massacres. Anti-Jews, especially Christians, started killing these people. Men, women, children, and even pregnant women were gathered together and burned alive. Thousands of Jews were expelled from France and other parts of Europe. It was made compulsory for Jews to wear a yellow badge so that people could identify them socially. Jobs, special reservation, Indian religion, marriage, these things were a ban for Jews. Even those who converted from Jews to become Christians were not treated well in Europe. If we talk about anti-Semitism, Jews were beaten up by Brahmins in the whole of Europe. With time, things did not change, but it became more difficult for Jews to live. There were separate penal codes for them. They were killed on every small issue, and after a gap of a few years, wars were fought to expel them from the country. Christians believed that Jews only want their own welfare and think only about their own interests. Therefore, they should not have any right to live a social life. In such a situation, millions of Jews are getting troubled and are moving towards America. They started running away. During this time, when French Revolution happened in 18th century, during Napoleon's time, Juju got a chance to live a good life, but with the end of Napoleon, the happiness of Juju's life also came to an end. But their repeated running away like this started becoming unbearable for their people. Gradually, Juju people started demanding their land. This demand was mostly from European countries because due to them, Juju were becoming homeless in modern times and were forced to run away to live there. Due to the bad times happening in the world, this community felt that if they want to live a peaceful life, then they will have to make their own country. By 19th century, Juju were all around, and talks of this country started spreading among them. During this time, on 2nd 1860, a Juju person named Theodor Herzl was born in Hungary. He himself had supported a lot of anti-Jew policies and hated the Europeans. He started a movement called Zionism and promoted the demand of Juju for their own country. During this, he wrote a book whose title was this. For the first time in the book, he asked the Jews to make their own country in the whole world. Arjun, who was a Zionist by profession, was the first to raise his voice for Jews and their country in the 19th century. His ideas of state started influencing Jews all over the world. Then a political committee of Jews was formed, which was named Zionist Organization, and its first meeting was held in Switzerland in 1897. After this meeting, Jews all over the world started sending money to this organization to support the Zionist movement. Within a short time, the Zionists raised a lot of money so that Jews could make their own country. The slogan of death to the Jews started echoing in the whole of Europe, due to which a lot of fear was spreading in the entire Zionist families. In such a situation, Herzl asked the Jews to come to their country Israel, which had now become Palestine. After his invitation, Jews started moving towards their country Israel in large numbers. Herzl was confident that it was impossible to remove anti-Semitism from Europe, and due to this, the Jews will always live a life of misery. That is why they intensified the demand for a Jewish state. On their call, the convoy of Jews again started moving towards Israel, which as much as possible. In this situation, they started moving towards Palestine. Some people, due to anti-Semitism, reached Palestine on foot by crossing the desert, which was in the hands of both the Palestine Ottoman empires. That is why there was no restriction on the arrival of the Jews here. The event of the Jews migrating from Europe and reaching Palestine was named Aliyah. On their call, the first Aliyah took place between 1882 and 1903, in which about 35,000 Jews returned to Israel. After this, the second Aliyah took place between 1904 and 1914, in which again about 40,000 Jews came to Israel. Meanwhile, World War I started. During this also about 40,000 Jews came to Israel, but even after coming to Palestine, the Jews were living like fugitives here. These people made their settlement in locks near the border, but the Jews had a lot of money, using which they wanted to flourish their city, school, hospital, and culture, which was their country. They wanted to make Israel at any cost, and the British were well aware of this. The Jews in both Americas were very flourishing and rich, and they were the ones who were sending money to the Zionist organization. After America got involved in World War I, the Jews also became pro-British to some extent. Taking advantage of this, the British Empire sought financial help from the Jews around 1917 to boost their weakening economy and to bear the expenses of warfare. In return, they said that if the Jews help them with money and if the British win World War I, then they will help the Jews to make their own country Israel. Trusting this promise of the British, the Jews supported the British. This proposal was made between the Jews and the British Foreign Secretary, which is called the Balfour Declaration. Trusting this promise, these people went against the Ottomans and helped the British financially. In this war, the Ottoman Empire lost and Palestine came under the control of the British. When Palestine came under the control of Britain, the whole world, the Jews started moving towards Palestine. The Jewish leaders saw that people were coming from different places and their dialect, language, and lifestyle were also different from each other. So, to give unity to the whole Jewish society, they established a city, which was named City of Tel Aviv. Here the Jewish leaders tried to bring back the Hebrew language, which was the old language of the Jews. Schools were open to learn the Hebrew language. Newspapers, public announcements, and prayers were promoted in the Hebrew language so that they could connect with each other strongly. Due to the increasing population of Jews and their lives under the British occupation, the Palestinians, who were mostly Muslims, started getting scared, and from here started the conflict of dominance in Palestine between Israel, and both wanted their rights on Palestine. The Polish felt that the British might give it to the Jews. After this, the Jews revolted against the British army. To pacify them, the British allowed only 10,000 people to come to Palestine in a year, but Poland, due to the growing anti-Semitism in Russia and Germany, millions of Jews started coming to Palestine illegally, without caring about any rules. Meanwhile, Jews created agricultural lands in their city and started farming. Apart from this, Hasted Road, which was a labor organization, was also built. After this, they also established an elected assembly, their National Council, and Haryana, which was Israel's defense force. In a way, they started building their country in time, but in the meantime, due to Hitler's rule in Germany, a lot of atrocities started happening on these people, due to which millions of Jews started running away and returning to their country Israel. Due to the increasing population of Jews, conflicts intensified in Palestine, but this time the Jews were not in a mood to run away. They prepared their forces, due to which they were also winning the civil war against Palestine. From 1933 to 1938, many civil wars took place in Palestine in which many Jews and Muslims were killed. Meanwhile, Amin al-Hussein, who was the Mufti of Jerusalem and was now the president of the Higher Committee, asked Hitler to kill the Jews and run away from Palestine. He wanted to go to Germany and join Hitler's army so that an army could be formed from Muslims in the earlier style, and the Jews could be treated in Palestine in the same way as they were being treated in Germany during that time. Hitler never gave much value to Mufti, but Mufti became friends with Hitler's right-hand man Adolf Eichmann. After this, during World War II, the British completely sealed the borders of Palestine, which made it impossible for Jews to enter Palestine. In such a situation, other countries also closed the doors of their countries for Jews. World War II started in 1939, in which about 60 lakh Jews were killed in the Holocaust, and those who retreated somehow fled to Israel. After going through the terrible pain of the Holocaust, the Jews' wait was over. They again started pressuring the British Empire to form their own country. This time the Jews were not the ones to back down. They took up guns in their hands so that Israel could become an independent country. Now, Israel forcefully went against Britain and retreated from the Holocaust. They started bringing the Jews who had come from abroad to their country. Many small conflicts took place. In June, both Jews and Britishers were killed, but finally they won this war. In 1947, the Zionist movement for homeland of Jewish people became very strong. After World War II, the British had become economically weak, so they released a white paper and said that they would leave Palestine on May 15, 1948, but till now the Jews had not got the homeland promised by the British Empire, so the war between Arabs and Jews was inevitable. But then this matter was handled by that commission and proposed the division of Palestine. In the beginning, no one came in support of Jews, but as soon as our country gave its vote in favor of the formation of the state Israel, USSR also voted in support of Jews. Then finally, when voting took place in that commission for the division of Palestine and Israel, then 33 countries supported the partition plan of Israel, while 12 Muslim countries and our country India were against it. The most interesting thing is that Britain, which had promised to give Jews their own state, remained neutral in this voting. A total of 10 countries did not vote in favor of anyone. In 1948, the British Army finally divided Palestine under Resolution 181 and left them. But a day before this, on November 14, 1948, Israel declared itself independent. But Israel's happiness did not last for more than a day because Palestine attacked Israel the very next day of the partition. The reason for the attack was the uneven partition of Palestine. Actually, the population of Jews was very less in the beginning, and they mostly used to live in the border areas of the upper part of Palestine. But when this partition happened, a large part of Palestine was given to Israel, which made Jews very happy, but Muslims did not accept it. Apart from this, Palestine was divided into parts. One was the first state, the second was the second state, and the city of Jerusalem was declared an international territory. Due to this partition, more than 7 lakh people living in the leftover part of Palestine were displaced. Muslims were left homeless and forced to live in the newly created state of Palestine. This led to the First Israeli War, soon after the formation of Israel, in which millions of Palestinians and Jews were killed. The war ended in 1949 with the Jews winning, but the conflict never ended.